Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Try that.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Try it.
Yes? Yeah. Have you tried turning it off and on? Try that, okay?
Hello, I'm Mr. Doherty, the End User Support Manager for the Information Services Department here at the Hill School. That's a lot of fancy words for I'm Mr. Fix-It. This episode, we're going to talk about Waveprint. More importantly, some basic troubleshooting. We're going to narrow it down for this episode and just talk about the iPads because that's kind of the more important one this time. If I spent all the time talking about the Macs and the PCs for this episode, we'd run out of time. What exactly is Waveprint? Well, if you've been living under a rock for the last 3 months and you don't know what Waveprint is our centralized printing solution for the Hill School. Basically, it means one printer to rule them all. Instead of trying to figure out what printer to send your print jobs to, we have one print queue you send it to, and then you go and find the closest Waveprint enabled printer and wave your card in front of it and your job comes out to you. So there are a couple things you need to know about Waveprint. First of all, Waveprint is tied to your Hill ID card. So if you get a new card because you've lost it or it gets damaged, you need to let ITS know about that new card so that we can put your information into the system. How do you let us know? Well, you don't have to actually walk to ITS. You can email support@thehill.org. On the back of your ID card, there's a long group of numbers. The first 5 digits are the numbers we actually need for that Waveprint ID. So if you email us that number, we can get your new card into the system ahead of time. The second thing to remember is the Waveprint jobs do not last forever in the digital arena. They have a 4-hour time limit. So if you print something and then go to bed and then expect to go over to the library and print it out, it will not come out anymore. So when you print it, find the nearest Waveprint printer, wave your card at it. Let's get on with some basic troubleshooting for Waveprint. The first thing we always ask somebody when they come in and say, I cannot print on my iPad, is, have you registered your ID card with us? Okay, so let's get on with some basic troubleshooting techniques for your Waveprint on your iPad. The first thing we will always ask you is, have you registered your ID card, Hill ID card, with us in ITS? So double check that you've done that. And once again, you send that information to support@thehill.org. The second thing we're going to ask you is, have you installed the Waveprint app on your iPad? You'll know that you have if you see a little printing icon that looks like this. If you do not have that printing app installed already on your iPad, you can do so yourself by pointing your Safari browser to this URL. It's important that you do it in Safari because we found that Chrome and the other browsers don't quite work right going to that particular URL. So once you've installed the app, we need to verify that the app is indeed working correctly. So you open up that printing app, and if you're challenged for your username and password, you need to enter your Hill username and Hill password at that point. For Hill username, you do not need to have the @thehill.org. If it just comes up, then that part is configured correctly. The last thing we'll do to your iPad, if none of the other stuff has fixed your problem, is restart your iPad. It's a well-kept tech secret that 80% of all iPad issues are fixed with a reboot. So in order to reboot your iPad, you hold down the home button and the power button at the same time for about 8 seconds, and eventually the screen will go blank. Keep holding those 2 buttons down until you see the Apple icon come up, and then let go. Oops. If at this point your iPad is still not printing, you most likely will need to bring it into ITS for us to have a look. If you want to help speed up the process though, email us ahead of time to support@thehill.org with your name that you're having a problem with printing. Be sure to include your Hill username and password and your Apple ID username and password in that email. And that's it for our first episode of Mr. Fixit's Tech Tips. We hope that you have found it useful and informative. If you have any questions or ideas for future episodes, please email them to support@thehill.org. And we wish you have a nice day. Thank you.